Just by way of introduction, my own name is Grace, and I'm the International Manager here at Cork Chamber, and we're really proud partners of the REEValue Consortium and the project in general. Just so you're aware, I suppose the REEValue project is a 3-year European co-funded project, and it runs throughout 6 other countries, and it runs until the end of 2026. So I suppose REEValue has been offering support in many ways since it's been up and running. By way of events and one-to-one meetings with Irish, Maltese and Portuguese businesses in the food, beverage and logistics sectors to help them, I suppose, become more energy efficient and improve their sustainability and their supply chain. So it's been really valuable for us as an Irish consortium to really learn, I suppose, from the different countries and the different kind of, I suppose, issues that they come across in the space. And also, I suppose, what we've been working towards, I suppose, specifically in Cork Chamber, is the launch of our REEValue platform, and that is the purpose of the call today. Specifically, what this call aims to do is to facilitate the sustainability journey to the businesses and to help you cut costs and carbon emissions. And that's the reason we're launching this platform and this call today. So today we have 2 lovely speakers from the REEValue Consortium, Alithia Mateos, REEValue and Sustainability Lead here at Cork Chamber, who represent the REEValue in general and in more detail, and Conor Malloy, who's the developer at AEMS, who carry out the demonstration for us this morning. So Alithia, I might just pass over to you to present REEValue for us.
Thank you, Grace, and good morning, everyone. So as Grace was mentioning, the REEValue project has been running since a year and a half or so. So I thought before the demo, I would just quickly run through a few more points about what REEValue is. So first, the word REEValue comes from renewable energy efficiency in the value chain. And as Grace mentioned, this is a co-funded European project through the LIFE program, which basically means that everything that we offer, events, platform, everything is free and open to everyone. And then our aim is to decarbonize food, drink, and transport value chains. As Grace mentioned, we are in all of these countries in Europe. And if you go on the website, and if you want to contact your local point of contact in your country, you go to contact us. You can fill in a form and it will be directly sent to your local point, whether you are in Greece or Portugal, Italy, or any of the other countries. But just for you to know who is behind REEValue, we have business representatives. So in this case, for Ireland, it's Cork Chamber, and we cover not only our Cork Chamber members, but REEValue is open to all Irish businesses in the food, beverage, and transport industries. Then we have Malta Business Bureau, MBB. We have the Portuguese Chamber of Commerce, and also we have the European Cold Storage Association, which are based in Belgium, but they cover European industries as well. Then we have national agencies in Greece and in Malta. So that's CRES in Greece and EWA, the Energy Water Agency. So they are public bodies looking and working on energy efficiency, but also water as well. Then we have 2 technical entities, which are in Ireland. We have Conor Malloy from Authentic Energy Management Services. Some of you might have worked with him before if you are in Ireland. And then we also have the University of Brescia, who are in Italy, and they are experts in value chain and value chain collaborations. And then I suppose what also makes different or special this consortium is that we have a best practice case study. So if you're from Italy or Malta, you probably know very well San Montana. But for those of you who might not know, they are a large company or industry based in Italy, but they export as well. And they produce ice cream and other desserts. So obviously it's a very energy intensive industry. They've been doing it sustainably for many years. So they are part of the consortium to bring their best practice to other businesses. And then they'll be taking part in our events as well. So which leads me to tell you that you can save the date for our international conference on decarbonizing European value chains. this conference is going to be taking place in Cork between the 11th and the 12th of September. And if you're interested, you can email me, or otherwise we will be starting to promote the conference in the next few days anyway. And last, the purpose of the meeting today is to show you our new platform, REEValue platform, which is a one-stop shop for your business. So we're going to show you how to carry out a very quick self-assessment, which gives you carbon footprint estimations, also energy saving recommendations, which are tailored to your industry type, and also the most important, it helps you accessing green grants. So with that, over to you, Grace.
Thanks so much, Alithia. That was great. And it's great to have the sustainability conference here in Cork as well. So we'd welcome anyone to get engaged in that as well. Perfect. So I just want to introduce our next excellent speaker. So Conor Malloy. Conor trains companies to maximize their energy performance, minimizing emissions on the path to net zero. An Al Gore climate reality leader since 2018, Conor has been helping businesses to save fuel and manage their energy use for profit and planet to reduce their CO2 greenhouse gas emissions since 2005. So with that, I'll pass you over to Conor.
Thank you very much indeed, Grace. Thanks again, Alicia. So folks, I'm going to do a wee bit of a demo here of the platform. I'm just going to have to move a few pieces around the screen just to be able to see. So the website is reevalue.eu, and depending on which country you're coming from, there are numerous localized versions of the platform. I'm going to do this demo on the Irish platform in English this morning. And the first button would be to click here. There is obviously a little bit more. If you scroll down, there's a little bit more going on. But just to keep the focus on the demo, I'm going to click on Calculate Your Energy Savings. And you can see I'm already logged in. So what I'm going to do is just quickly show you. Sorry, again, just need to move a bit of zoom out of the way. My profile. So I've set this up just as a demo account. So you can see there the usual kind of things. And then one of the most important things you need to do is make sure you've picked the right NACE code. Okay. And then as you can see, the usual items there. But if I just click back here to the energy evaluation, as Alicia said to you there, it's a very quick self-assessment. So you can walk yourself through this at your own pace. I mentioned there picking your sector, so that's the NACE code. So I'll pick, say, transport. Give a brief description of what it is you do. So what I do is sustainable logistics. So just get well, if I can spell it right, but anyway, there you go. And just hit next. And it's self-paced. You can take your time going through the various steps. And what I'll do is I'll talk you through each of the questions, but I'm not going to fill out every single question just for the sake of time. So has your business produced a sustainability report? You might say yes, in which case you can either link to the report if you have it online on your website, or you can choose a file and upload it. But I'll just say no to that, as I say, just for the sake of time. Have you conducted a life cycle assessment, maybe on your main product or service? And again, you can run through that and upload it. So what we're creating, as I said, is that self-assessment. If you're big enough to go for 50,001, the energy management performance standard, you can log that in as well and upload the energy review. And the energy review will save a lot of questions when it comes to giving you some support on the platform. Have you defined a list of improvements to reduce your energy consumption? So you might say yes and just type them in. There's no great formality about it. Just like a small bullet point will do. Again, I'll just click no just to run through it. Have you conducted an energy audit? So the answer may be yes. You can specify the year. Is it your first, or is it your second or your third, etc. So very, very straightforward. And in terms of your manufacturing activities, you need to tell us what kinds of energy you use. So we'll go for electricity. I'll key natural gas as well. And then in terms of your transport, you might put in diesel, etc., but I'm going to put in EV, and then you hit next. Okay, but you can see I'm obviously well used to it. I've run through it very quickly. You'll be going through it a little bit slower when you come to do it yourselves. But the idea would be to get you to assess what you've done to date, and maybe hopefully plant some seeds of things you might want to do as part of the process over the life of the project. So in terms of electricity, you can see here, I'm just going to put in some nice round numbers, and there you go. So the value. How much of it is in my production process? I might say 50%. And obviously where you're entering a percentage, you need to make sure it does eventually add up to 100%. So you can just see me filling in some numbers here on screen. And you can, if you have solar PV, or if you're lucky enough to have enough land for a wind turbine, you might say, yes, I generate my own, energy. You can key that in. But for today, I'll just say no. Right. And then in terms of natural gas, I'll put in another 100,000 kilowatt hours. And let's say it's cost us about €11,000 a year. How much does that go into our production process? I might say 100% in this case, just to make it simple. But you can see you can break it down if you raise steam, hot water, etc., or you have other uses for natural gas, you can put it in there. And then in terms of the company car, I'll just key this in to 10,000 kilowatt hours, and we'll say we do 50,000 kilometers a year. So again, whilst I'm doing the demo, I'm doing it quite quickly, but you can see how easy it is to use the tool. It's very straightforward. And, if you don't have one of those numbers, it's easy enough to come back to it later if that's what you want to do. There's also some support around packaging. So you might say, yes, we do use packaging in our manufacturing process. So how much is cardboard, how much is plastic, how much is bioplastic, glass, metal, etc. I'll say no on this occasion, but as you can see, we will help you in this aspect of your sustainability journey. And then in terms of the value chain, so looking out beyond the boundary of your own company, so looking out beyond the fence, if you like, are you talking to your suppliers, to your customers, etc.? And you might say in terms of your suppliers, yes, we are talking to our suppliers, and these are some of the things that we might discuss with our suppliers. So again, it's a kind of an aid memoir. It kind of prompts you to have a look at this in terms of your overall supply chain. We've seen some large companies use the platform or begin to use the platform to engage their supply chain under the REEValue project. And obviously, if you're a small to medium-sized company, you may choose to use it to engage some of your suppliers as well. So what I'll do is I'll just say no to that one again. And then, has your company implemented any energy efficiency actions suggested by customers? You might say yes. And again, it's just describe them, give some feedback on them, and you can move on from there. So I'll just click no again on this, and then I'll hit next. Do you have a dedicated budget for sustainability initiatives? So improvements in energy use and packaging, getting yourself off fossil fuels, etc. So you might say yes. And again, just a demo. You might add the value there, or I'll say no in this case. And effectively, you'll see there we've gone through the steps fairly rapidly, and I speak a little bit quickly. So for anyone who feels I've spoken a bit too fast, do please put your questions into the chat. You can see here, this being the demo account, I have a number of demos already done. But once you see your carbon footprint, you can click on the latest report, and that's one really key thing. You can come back into the platform as often as you like. So as you make progress, you can come in, you can update the figures, and you can see how you're doing, okay? And we'll issue you a new report. Now, I'm going to scroll down to the report in a moment, but just to let you know, you can download the information offline, so you can keep this on your PC if that's what you want to do. But what I'm going to do now is just scroll down a little through the report. So you can see that we've given you the sum of your CO2 emissions. You can see there what your total energy consumption is in kilowatt hours per year, your energy cost, and then the fuel or transport cost. So you can see I've just put in there for the sort of the company car there, just to give you an idea. And then as we come down here through the recommendations, we've got various recommendations that are tailored for you based on, if you remember, your NACE code, the sector that you're in, and the kinds of energy you said that you use. So we have a series of recommendations here. You can go down through them. And you can see for transportation, quite a lot going on there. I just, for ease of reading, just compressed air. We'll say monitoring and management systems, building infrastructure improvements, etc. So all set up for you. And then very quickly, you can see now you're being introduced to where the funding is in your country, just to be clear. So there is a database here of funding across all the different countries that are on the platform. And I think with that, I'm going to press pause and just open up the chat to see if any questions have come in. And Alicia, I think you're going to join me at this point, aren't you?
Yeah, thanks, Connor. Thank you for the demo. I think you just showed how easy it is, and that's actually one of our main motivations, I suppose, to make a platform that's going to give you technical information, but easy to use as well. There is a question saying, interested to know what kind of supports are available through the program for packaging. I can reply to that one. So as I mentioned, REEValue is an energy efficiency project, as that's what it was funded for. But obviously, the use of packaging also translates into carbon footprints. And with that, I bring my previous kind of knowledge on plastic and packaging. So what we've been doing with some of the, especially SMEs that we've been working with that do produce plastic or other types of packaging, is that to have like one-to-one business meeting with them, go through their packaging materials and see if there are any easy swaps, I suppose, and kind of like help them understand. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really drawn on your own expertise, Alicia. So it's kind of help desk support, and the same applies to the energy. I mean, much and all, as we've given some recommendations here, there are, you know, real life human experts behind the platform as well. And Alicia, you're the expert on packaging, so you're available, I think.
Yeah, thanks. I suppose that we always, and we encourage you to please type your questions in the Q&A. We have been getting some questions already by people that have been testing and using the platform. So I suppose one of them is also, can multiple people from a company use my platform? And indeed you can. So we have companies in Malta, Portugal, and Ireland that have been using the platform. So you can either set up your own profile. You can have as many different profiles as you want per company, or you can share your details, and so then you will be able to see the kind of the same results that you are all getting if you share your details.
And I think it's just a top tip for companies that just I know from training companies is sometimes we use individuals' emails. But if you do have a group email for an energy team or a green team in the company, that's a good email to use to register, because then obviously everybody can access the platform straight away. So, but yeah, multiple people can definitely access the platform. We've seen a couple of companies do that, add additional users. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, is the tool relevant for businesses outside the core target sectors? And I'm aware that perhaps in this call or people watching this video back might not be from the food, beverage, or transport industries. The answer is yes. So if you do the self-assessment, you, from whatever industry you are from, as long as you use energy and electricity and all of that, you will be getting your carbon footprint estimation. And also, depending on your country, you will also be getting the grants, sustainability grants available to you. The only results that are linked to the industry types are the energy recommendations. And that's because some of our partners from other countries had a look at loads of energy audits from these specific industries. And then they made a list of 500 energy recommendations that we have compiled into the platform. And those are for food, beverage, and transport industries. But from whatever industry you're from, you will still be getting a carbon footprint estimation and energy grants. How often will the platform be updated with new grants and supports? I don't know, Connor, if you want to.
Yeah, well, I think it's as often as we get the press releases is probably the simple answer to that question. Not every government provides kind of a mailing list, so it can be a question of us finding out about the grant. But once we hear about it, we will update it. The platform is not fixed. It can be updated. It is being updated as new information comes in. So we recently updated it for the rapid access business grants here in the Republic of Ireland. But as new funds become available, and you saw we have some government agencies as partners, and we do update it. So not necessarily immediate, but certainly relatively quick updates.
Yeah, thanks. And Connor, would you like to give some examples of how we have been helping companies accessing grants?
Yeah, I think the first thing that a lot of people haven't realized is that they obviously need to know how much energy they use, and increasingly in countries here in the Republic as well of Ireland, you do need to know what your CO2 footprint is to be able to complete some of the grant forms. So I've scrolled back up the screen there, and you can see you've got some of the answers. How many kilowatt hours am I using? what's my total cost, etc., and then the tons of CO2. So at that basic level, we're helping people fill out some of the fields on the grant application. But over and above that, one of the things that we found companies, if you like, leaning on us for is just, you know, which grant should I go for? I want to have a conversation about it. I want to talk to someone about it. So, or they may also be looking for some independent advice, because obviously we have no interest other than in helping companies to reduce their carbon footprint. We're not selling anything. We're funded by the EU, so we can offer independent advice. So we've seen companies who are on the platform already and interacting with REEValue, you know, organize a Teams call with their team, and you know, get a couple of people on the call, maybe some senior managers, just to talk things out, tease things out. Is this the right grant for me? What's involved? Are there any, you know, catches, if I can put it that way, that we need to watch out for? That kind of thing. And, you know, we've seen conversations that have moved maybe from solar to replacing a boiler with a heat pump, or someone maybe looking at the vans in the yard when they were originally just looking at something inside the building. But, you know, a more lucrative grant, if I can put it that way. Does that answer the question, Alicia?
Yeah, thanks. Another question, does the tool consider Scope 3 carbon footprint? No. But we are, you know, we perhaps in the future will be able to develop the platform even further. I know I was having a conversation this week also on whether we can also calculate the carbon footprint of food waste. The way we calculate carbon footprint is by using standard carbon factors per country. So we have clearly defined carbon factors for Scope 1 and Scope 2 in Europe. Scope 3, as you might know in this call, is still a bit trickier to calculate, I suppose, but perhaps in the future. Yeah.
And I think what we found with some companies who are doing a lot of imports and exports is there's a standardized methodology for doing Scope 3 there now, which is going to become an EU regulation. So we're able to point people at the free guide to do that. So instead of struggling with the internet to find some factors to plug into your Scope 3, we can actually show you where the actual default values that will become the EU regulation are, and you can use them straight away. So it'll depend on the topic in Scope 3. It'll depend on the aspect that you're looking at. But, you know, we're happy to take the question, and if we know the answer, we'll share it with you, and that should help you speed up your Scope 3 calculations.
Exactly, and I might just add to that as well that as Connor mentioned, we provide independent advice, but we also put you in contact with perhaps consultants or organizations that provide grants that can give you further support. So, actually carry out an energy audit for you, because we don't, what we offer in REEValue does not equate an energy audit. So, but we can offer you independent advice. And with that also, there was another question on, can I use this to engage suppliers on sustainability? And I see also that some of our, I suppose, Irish organizations that provide grants, some of them are on this call. So I can just quickly explain an example of a recent collaboration that we had with Little Ireland and Northern Ireland, in which we engaged and collaborated with them through their corporate, to the CSR program and their supplier engagement program. So with that, we ran a series of events and webinars with, for example, the local enterprise office, which I know is here if you are from Ireland, in which we connected little suppliers with different relevant grants that are available to them. But also, whether you are a large organization or a smaller one, with suppliers, you're more than welcome to send them the platform to your suppliers. So then they can also, you know, use it to calculate carbon footprint and getting some energy recommendations that you can then perhaps follow up with them.
Yeah, I think it's probably important as well to say, Alicia, that the platform does accept the units that you are building. Some of the other platforms that we have here in the Republic of Ireland don't, so there is an ease of use there. And also, when you're working with an existing consultant, we're happy to work with them, because again, we're funded by the EU. We don't need you to pay us any money or anything like that. So we're more than happy to work with your existing consultants and suppliers as well to help you get it moving. So long as you can act on the recommendations and draw down the funding, we're happy to help you. I think that's just to widen the scope so little, we're able to help their supply chain as well. A couple more questions coming in there as well, I think, Alicia.
Yeah, a question from Klina. Techie question: by uploading, for example, ISO 50001 or other documents, is this for reference or for information extracted from the report?
Just reference. So as you can imagine, we could do a lot of meetings getting to know your business. If you've got a report, we can read it. It saves obviously a lot of time and effort. Bearing in mind that the design of the project is to work from existing energy audits. So it's, if you like, we're working with the organizations that have already made a start. If you haven't, we can get you started, but you know, the organizations that have made a start, whether it's 50,001 energy review, etc., you know, they're for reference, and it's effectively to inform us and to help us, if you like, baseline your current situation. So as you begin to implement the projects, we can help you to measure and verify the savings. So and part of the project will be to calculate the savings. So although we haven't made a big thing about it here today, you can see that the application allows you to redo the carbon footprint on a regular basis, see how you're doing, and we'll be using that later. So effectively the 50,001 and the other documents are up for a reference, and they help us to baseline and understand what you've done or haven't done to date. That's really what we do there.
Yeah, a couple more questions. So if someone wants to reach out to us interested in exploring scope 3 emissions, I suppose like the platform would not give you calculation for the scope 3 emissions, but you can contact your local or national point of contact, and then we'll be able to maybe signpost you to others that do these calculations.
Yeah, and I think just speaking to Sophia, the there on the, you know, in terms of scope 3, I think, you know, it's a fair point, but the focus of government policy, EU policy at the moment is really getting off fossil fuels. So it's scope 1 and 2 to 2030. Absolutely, we're all concerned about scope 3, and Alicia is an expert in some areas of it, and I do a bit of work in it as well. But really the urgency is around getting off fossil fuels. That's the message from government, certainly here. So that's the focus of the project. That's where the funding is.
Another question from Tim: a lot of food and agri-food companies based in Ireland would be updating their sustainability goals as well as their annual energy consumption data through their Origin Green reports. Yeah. Could this be uploaded in the submission form? Yes. So there is an option for a sustainability report, which in this case could be an Origin Green report. And for our Irish businesses, we have been working through, you know, their Origin Green reports, which is they have a lot of information, and many of the actual SMEs that we've been working with have been submitting these reports for 4 to 5 years, so even before CSRD. So yeah, you're more than welcome to upload that on the sustainability report option, so then we can have a look at it. Another question: what happens if the data given, for example, energy consumption of some motors is wrong? For example, it does not have any logic, then the results, the carbon footprint, what would it be?
Well, that's when the humans kick in, Andreas. That's when we have to review it and look at it and go back to you and go, are you sure about that 1,000,000 kilowatt hours of electricity or 10,000 kilowatt hours that went into a small van or whatever the case may be? So that's where the human element comes into it. The quick sense check that is done on the platform is to get you to key in the value of, say, the electricity that you consume. So we can do a quick sense check there. If someone's paying sort of 2 or 3 cents a kilowatt hour, there's probably an issue. And likewise, if it goes the other way, maybe if they're paying €3 a kilowatt hour, that'll also be a quick kick indicator. But yeah, the platform is orientated around using the data that you have and helping you. But we do a sense check, because this data is going to form the basis of the REEValue project, the overall aggregated report. So we sense check it, we get back to people, we help them out, we help them do calculations and plug gaps in their data if they have them. So that's how we approach that one, Andreas.
Thanks, and perhaps I can close also by adding to that, Connor, if you go to the results section, we can. Oh, I mean, sorry, if you go like in the top right and.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah. Sorry, I got too many things, too many. What's it called? Too many windows open. Yes, here we go.
Your results, exactly. So I can add to that as well. You can run the Yeah, that's it. Thank you. You can run a self-assessment as many times as you want. As you can see here, we were testing as well. You can update your results, or if you run it and you think something is off, you can obviously have a meeting with us and then rerun it again. But this is very useful, for example, for some companies where they want to take a test today, see what the recommendations are, and then come back in 6 months when they have implemented LED lights or they have bought new trucks, and then rerun the self-assessment again to then get a new calculation for the carbon footprints and as well as any other recommendations. So I suppose that I just wanted to close by saying that you can retake the test as many times as you want. So that way you can also compare over time your results.
Yeah, I think it's it is a self-assessment. So it's your numbers, your data, your information, and what we're trying to do is give you that sort of collective overview, together with some human expert help and support as well on top, all building on your existing supplier bases and with a degree of independence, given that we're funded by the EU. Is that all the questions? I think we've just run through.
So. Yeah, I think we covered everything. I would say again that if you have any more questions or want to contact your country point of contact, you can go onto the website, send the form, contact us, and it will directly send the message to the person from the REEValue partner from your country.
Absolutely. So it's across Europe, and we've partners in each of the countries and active bringing companies in, and meetings are ongoing, not quite every week, but quite continuously, helping individual companies with help and support and understanding where the money may be.
Great. Thank you everyone for joining us this morning. As I mentioned, we are organizing an international conference in September in Cork, Ireland. So if you follow REEValue on LinkedIn, you will be able to see our when we open for registrations for the conference. And thank you, Connor, as well for the demo. Very clear. And thank you everyone for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much indeed. Delighted to have you. Great to get the questions, folks. And thanks for the feedback coming in. Yeah, best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.